Hi students, I wanted to take some time to go over the early intervention observation assignment. It's one of your key assignments for this course. So if you look in Canvas, you'll see here under assignments is where the assignment will be located. It'll also be under some of your week modules. So the instructions are that you will conduct 3 hours of observation in an early intervention setting, which can include a preschool setting, therapy center, early intervention program, child care center, etc. This is really important. Make sure that your observation site includes a special education program and/or serves students with special needs. They can be diagnosed, undiagnosed, at risk, etc. That is the primary goal of this assignment. So make sure, I will emphasize once more, make sure that whatever site you choose, it includes a special education program or serves students with special needs. So if you go to a school site or a classroom that does not have children with special needs, then my recommendation is quickly find another site, because the key goal of this assignment is to observe accommodations, modifications, etc., adaptations for children with special needs. So if there are not any children with special needs in the classroom, then you won't be able to fulfill the main goal of the assignment. Your 3 hours of observation can be done in one location or several, in one day or multiple days. However, it is recommended that you observe a variety of settings and/or days if possible. So that's completely up to you. I've had students do all 3 hours in one sitting, or I've had students do 6 days of 30 minutes each. So it definitely depends on what works for you and for the site. Make sure that your observation is passive and you are not interacting with the children. You will observe these early intervention settings and compile your notes, checklist analysis, and 3 photos depicting the classroom environment and reflection. This is also important. You will also submit your observation log, which must be signed by a teacher or director at your site to verify your observation. The photos serve as a required verification as well. The children do not need to be present in the photo. In fact, I encourage you to just take photos of the classroom environment when the children are not present, unless the site is okay with that. Whether or not the children's faces are not shown, that's up to each site. But you do not need to have children present. I need to see examples of the classroom setting itself, to see what sort of classroom environment you observed, to see what sort of accommodations, adaptation, etc., are present in the classroom. So that is really important. So again, make sure that the 3 photos are included in your assignment as well as the signed log. And when I pull up the assignment, you will see where the log is located. So depending on where you are observing, you may need to obtain TV clearance, which can be done for free in the West LA College Health Center as long as you have paid your $7 ASO fee. So here is the assignment itself so that we can take a look at what the assignment is requiring. All right, so this is the actual paper that you will be submitting. So all of this is what I just read. These are the main instructions. You will be able to write directly on this document. It is a Word document, so you can write directly on it. You would indicate the site or sites observed, dates, contact person, and their information. The checklist. You will check off whether or not each indicator was clearly evident, somewhat evident, or not observed. So first you're looking at the physical environment. The next category is the learning environment, the teacher, and students. So again, this is a Word document, so you can click directly into the document. Some students make X's, some students highlight. It's completely up to you, but because this is a Word document, you can type into it. All right, so the second part is your summary, analysis, and reflection. After your 3 hours of observation, you will select one site and write up and submit a report of your experience. The report should be a summary of the 10 topics and should meet the following requirements. Answering each question fully, accurately, and thoughtfully, you will earn up to 8 points per question for a total of 80 points. Then you will get an additional 10 points for completing the checklist. an additional 5 points for your assigned log, and an additional 5 points for the 3 photos of the classroom environment. Make sure that your assignment is typed double-spaced Times New Roman font, margins not more than 1 inch in width. Answer each topic in order, number each topic 1 through 10, and make sure to answer all parts in full sentences and use paragraphs where appropriate. So sometimes students will write their paper in a narrative form, but without numbering them, and I can't always assume that each paragraph is sequentially answering the questions that you're going to see below. So please help me out and number each topic 1 through 10, and then you will follow along with the paragraph responding to each particular question. Refer to the evaluation criteria posted with the assignment when preparing your observation report. Include a cover sheet for the first page of your report. Just use APA format. And then, not counting the cover sheet, this will be approximately 3 to 4 pages in length, just to give you an idea. Most students go a little bit over because there are 10 questions. Use examples from your observation and your description. Try to relate information learned in class to your summary. Be reflective and use specific course-related terminology. And remember to protect the confidentiality of information and do not use students' or teachers' full names in your report. Their first names are okay, or you can use aliases if you choose. So once you've selected one of the classrooms, and again, this is if you chose multiple classrooms to observe, some of you may have already just chosen one classroom to do all 3 of your hours. So here are the following questions that you're going to answer. They're pretty self-explanatory. It's 1 through 10. The first part is regarding school information. So in a paragraph form, you're going to answer these questions about the school demographics, urban, suburban, rural, etc. What's the school's mission statement? Describe the cultural diversity of the students. Briefly describe the classroom environment. Describe the methods of teaching used by the teacher. Briefly describe the level of development of the students. Describe the learning strategies the teacher uses in the lessons. Describe the questioning techniques the teacher uses. Describe how the teacher motivates his or her students. Describe the classroom management techniques. And number 9 is extremely important. Note, please be as detailed as possible in this section because we're talking about specifically support for exceptional students. Remember, one of the goals of this assignment is to observe modifications, accommodations, and adaptations in an early intervention classroom setting. So this section is really vital to demonstrate your understanding of these concepts and the extent to which the school is able to address the needs of exceptional students. So in this section, you're going to describe how the teacher differentiated instruction to accommodate the exceptional students in the classroom. What kinds of special needs do students included in this classroom have? For example, learning disability, speech disorder, ADHD, physical disability, visual or hearing impairment, etc. And due to confidentiality, i.e. the HIPAA privacy rule, you may not be able to verify this for specific students. So you can try making your best guess, but you may be able to still find out from the teacher what exceptionalities exist in the classroom overall. So the teacher may not be able to say, Johnny has an ADHD diagnosis, Sarah has an autism diagnosis, but the teacher might be able to say, well, in our classroom, we have students with diagnosis of speech delay, we have students in our classroom with ADHD diagnoses, etc. So they may be able to give you an overall idea of what sort of exceptionalities exist in the classroom. And then number 10, based on your overall observation experience, what were your overall impressions of your observations? Describe one technique or method that you observed that you would consider using in your future classroom and why you think it would be helpful. And then your photo gallery, which is worth 5 points. You also need to include at least 3 photos from your observation. Remember to avoid photographing children's faces for privacy that depict the classroom environment and accommodations, modifications, adaptations for exceptional students. Reminder, one of the main goals of this assignment is to observe children with exceptionalities in a classroom environment to see differentiated instruction, accommodations, adaptations, modifications for children with special needs. If there are currently no children with special needs present in the classroom or site in which you are observing, please choose a different classroom site. All right, so That is the assignment, and I also wanted to point out two other items that are here for your use, and these are also helpful and valuable to take a look at. So we have a site observation permission letter. So you may want to take this to your site. This is current for this particular semester. Depending on what class you're in, you will definitely have an uploaded one. Just so happens that this is a class that we're in now. So this is a letter that I wrote and signed that you can take to a site administrator, etc., if they want verification. You can also show them our core syllabus as well. So that's there for your use. Also, this is important, recommended list of observation sites. All right, so the instructions at the top are the same as for your assignment. Now here are some recommended sites, but you may also choose a site of your own. Be sure to set up appointments at your desired site at least 2 weeks before your scheduled observation date. So I have some locations where you might be interested. These are all centers that I know quite well, either because my son has attended, or I have colleagues, or I have toured these particular schools. There's a lot of great places here. I will say Napa is a great one, particularly because Miss Glenda Ree, she does not require that students have a TB test, nor do you have to make an appointment. You can walk in. I will provide an announcement that gives more details about that. She also prefers that you email, no phone calls, please. There are also several other lists here. If you choose Therapy West, they require HIPAA training and LiveScan. It's a 1-week turnaround time, so that's something to keep in mind if you choose that place. We have the UCLA Early Intervention Program, which is phenomenal, LA Speech, Language, and Therapy, Exceptional Children's Foundation, Blind Children's Center, etc. Now, here are some very important things that I want you to keep in mind when you observe to ensure successful site observations. The first thing is that when you visit a school site, remember that you are representing me, yourself, and West LA College. As such, make sure that you are professional, considerate, and prompt. For example, make appointments at least 2 weeks before your planned observation. And a lot of these tips have come from feedback that I've gotten from sites where they've told me that students, for example, have scheduled observations the day before or the day of, wanting to come in. And as you know, these sites are very busy and they can't accommodate students on such a short notice. So please be considerate and try to schedule at least 2 weeks before. And of course, be sure to arrive on time for your scheduled observation. So if you schedule an observation for 9, please be sure to arrive a few minutes before 9 a.m. to make sure that you can observe at the time. And because they're allowing you into their school, you want to make sure that you are respecting the schedule, because the children are on a schedule, the teachers are on a schedule and anticipating you, and children need that consistency. So try to make sure that you arrive when you say you're going to arrive. Be sure to inform the site if you are going to be late or need to reschedule your observation. Refrain from asking the teachers questions during their teaching. Please wait until afterwards to ask any questions. So the teachers will be more than happy to answer questions for you, but if you're asking them questions while they're teaching, as you can imagine, that's very distracting and disruptive. So please wait until afterwards to ask any questions that you have. Make sure to get your log signed and take 3 photos of the classroom before you complete your observation. And when you're making your appointment or when you're meeting the teacher for the first time, make sure that they know that they're going to need to sign your log and that you will be taking photos of the classroom. You don't want there to be any surprises. You want to make sure that they know what to expect. And then also remember to thank the staff at the site for allowing you to observe. So those are the key items for the assignment. I look forward to reading them. Thanks so much.